This is about Lucifer. It's a great show, and I love it. I want to preface by saying I love the show, and there's basically no way to adapt the comic as it is. But Lucifer is easily the most unfaithful adaptation I've ever seen of a DC TV show. And here's why. This is going to be a little bit longer. I've got some notes. Here's the thing. I know there's changes made in adaptation. There always is. You know, when Batman 89, the movie, made Batman a murderer, that's Batman's #1 biggest rule, is that he doesn't kill people, but because it's an action movie, they had to make changes for the genre and the convention of the form, and that's fine. But they usually keep the core character the same. In The Flash, you know, Flash never worked at Star Labs in the comic, but he's still recognizable as Barry Allen. His morality, his powers, they're very much the same. Green Arrow is still recognizable as Green Arrow. Lucifer, however, is pretty much every character is the polar opposite of what they are in the comic book. And I love the comic book. I love Sandman, I love Lucifer, I love books of magic. And I know a lot of people probably haven't read the comic, so you're not aware that it's very, very different in tone and style, and most importantly in character. So I'm going to focus on the characters. Lucifer, Amenadiel, Mazikeen, Cain, and Eve are about the only characters who exist in both versions. And I will try to refer to Show Lucifer as Show Lucifer, Book Lucifer as Book Lucifer, and so it is with all of them. Let's start there. Show Lucifer is an idiot. He is a comical buffoon of a character, and it's very funny. I love the Lucifer show, and I love it. I love every character on the show, but Lucifer in the comic is one of the smartest beings in the entire universe. Most of what he does is outsmarting other gods in various pantheons. The Greek pantheon, the Japanese pantheon, other various underworlds. You know, most of what he does is outsmarting them. He's a very intelligent character. He's very cool and calm and collected. He's arrogant, yes, that much is true, but he's arrogant in a whole different way. Show Lucifer thinks that he is God's gift to women and to men, you know. Book Lucifer is so arrogant that he believes he should be God. You know, what happens on the show? They both create a nightclub in LA. That much remains the same. But the book doesn't stick with the nightclub for very long. He pretty much abandons it after the angels attack it, destroy it, and he focuses on the main thrust of the book is his second creation. The way that the book starts off, Lucifer does a favor for God in exchange for a letter of passage, a passage out of creation. And God's intention is that it will create a doorway for Lucifer to leave God's creation. What he wants is to escape predestination, just like the show, and exit creation. But it's supposed to close behind him and lock the door so he can't get back in. So what Lucifer does, he creates a gateway and then writes Lucifer, being comic book Lucifer, of course. He writes God's name on the doorway to his new creation so God can't destroy it. Every atom in the DC universe has God's name written on it, so it can't be destroyed. He can't destroy the gateway without destroying all of creation. Lucifer does not have sex with humans. Comic book Lucifer considers humans to be so far beneath him, he would not deign to sleep with them if he even had genitals, which he doesn't. Lucifer's blonde, by the way, appears as an angel. The appearance, is very different. He has bat wings when he has Lord of Hell, and they become angel wings later on. He has Sandman cut his wings off for him when he's locking up Hell to leave. Yeah, most of what I'll be talking about is the comic book, because people know the show, they don't know the comic. But he only has sex with Mazikeen. It's a very... They only deal with it once, how they actually have sex. If he doesn't have genitals, character asks Mazikeen, you know, how does it work since angels don't have genitals? And it's whispered into her ear from Mazikeen, and her face does the shock Pikachu face, but we don't find out the intricacies of how that actually works. His powers are, first of all, his powers, Lucifer does not have the what do you desire power. That is more like the character of Desire from The Endless, who rules over humans' desires and wants, and that's what she embodies. Lucifer's powers are much wider and much more varied. He created the suns, he created the stars, he's the light bringer. He has those kind of cosmic level powers. He's a very powerful being in the DC universe. It's important though the comic does not line up perfectly with Sandman or with the DCU. It's sort of a what-if universe all unto itself, but it's a very good comic, 75 issues by Mike Carey, and I forget the artist's name. Damn it, look it up. But it's very good, I highly recommend it. But his powers are not that of, Desire mixed with Ghost Rider. The devil face, he doesn't have a devil face. He looks like an angel. Even when he had bat wings, he just looked like an angel, a normal human with bat wings. That's the most evil he's ever looked. He doesn't have the devil face. He doesn't look all charred and demonic looking. The basic idea is that Neil Gaiman's idea of the devil, of Lucifer, was built around subverting people's expectations. I know that's a bad word now, but this is the 80s. Of the devil. He did not play into people's idea of the Christian mythology of the devil. He subverted them. And the show Lucifer really embodies those ideas. He is sinful. He is, given to excesses. Lucifer does not go to Earth to drink and screw and do drugs. He does play piano occasionally at the club, but it's mostly just to show off for everyone. He's very prideful. They have that much in common. But as I said, Lucifer in the comic is much, much more prideful than show Lucifer. Punishment. He does not punish people in hell. The show never remains consistent. He always talks about how he punishes the guilty, but the show presents that people punish themselves with their own guilt. It is true in the comic that people keep themselves in hell with their own guilt, but there are demons in the comic that tear people apart. It's very... much the typical presentation of hell, with demons roaming around and fire and brimstone and torture devices, and it's very horrifying. So Lucifer cares nothing for humans. He has no compunction with killing humans or with killing angels. In fact, he kills anyone who gets in his way. He is only interested in serving his own ends and will manipulate anyone to those ends. But he's not a villainous character. If he has gotten help from someone, a human per se, he will try to help them back as repayment. He likes to pay his debts. He doesn't, he looks down on God for being an asshole, and he doesn't want to be that same kind of asshole. So yeah, Lucifer, he doesn't learn lessons. On the show, Lucifer is always learning lessons. He's always stepping into other people's shoes. Book Lucifer is very self-defined, self-directed, and he knows everything already. He doesn't learn lessons all the time. I get that you need to do that kind of thing for a show, and like I said, I love the show, but it's nothing at all like the comic. Okay, that's enough for Lucifer right now. Let's talk about Amenadiel for a minute. Amenadiel is nothing in the book more than the first angel who shows up. The role of Amenadiel on the show, of Lucifer's brother, who is better than him and trying to get him to walk a straighter and more narrow path, is really Michael in the book. Michael is also the firstborn along with Lucifer, and then God created the rest of the angels. So it should be Michael, but let's look at the actual character of Amenadiel in the comic. He's the one who God sends to Lucifer to give him the task to perform that gives him the letter of passage that allows him to create his second creation. Lucifer's second creation, by the way, is a universe very much like our own, or the DC universe, the primary rule being no worship is allowed of any gods of any kind, not even him, because he really resents that sort of thing. But Amenadiel is a dick. He is the general of Heaven's armies. When they form into an angel cadre to attack Lux, they put everyone in LA to sleep, and then the angels attack and destroy Lux. That's actually a fun reference in the show. That shirt Mazikeen wears, it says normal consciousness will resume shortly. That was sold in the LA in the book after people had woken up after the angel attack. They put everyone to sleep and attacked Lux. Lucifer had employed a Japanese demon to fight them off, which is really just a delaying tactic until he could get his doorway copied and replicated and send copies throughout creation so whoever wanted to could come and live in his new creation. The book is very cosmic. Very little of it is set on Earth. And he would never care about people being murdered. Amenadiel in the book is, he hates Lucifer. Hates him. And they actually have a duel in hell where they fight each other. And there's a fun reference on the show where Lucifer says to Amenadiel, I'll eat your heart out. And that's funny because in hell, that's how you win the duel. Death is not as strictly defined for infernal creatures, so the way you win a duel in hell is that you hunt your opponent, cut out his heart, and eat it. And Lucifer did, in fact, cut out Amenadiel's heart and eat it in front of the lords of hell. But Amenadiel is not a straight and narrow angel either. He cheated with the Lord of Hell, who was hosting the duel, in order to try and cheat and beat Lucifer that way. Okay, that about covers it for Amenadiel. A quick note about the Silver City. The Silver City is not heaven. Silver City is where the angels live. It was built by the children of Lilith, the Illim, and it's just where the angels live. Heaven, where human souls go, is an entirely different place. The show matches them together because the show is more based on Christian mythology than on the book. Which, I love the show, but you didn't need the license to make this show. You know, there's a 30 Rock joke where Jack runs the network NBC into the ground, and he runs a show called God Cop, and that's what Lucifer basically is Devil Cop. You know, I thought that was funny. Mazikeen is the most loyal to her book interpretation. She is very deadly and very loyal to Lucifer. That much is true, but she is not sexy. Mazikeen does not slink around in sexy outfits. She doesn't have sex with humans. She does have a relationship with one human who happened to work at Lux and help fight demons alongside her, but she is utterly devoted to Lucifer. Even when she is put out from his good graces and goes to round up and lead the Illim, the other demons, she brings them under Lucifer's banner to attack heaven. At one point, they bring the Silver City down and attack the Silver City with an army of demons on the plain of Armageddon, which is a literal place and not an event. But that's all very end of the book type stuff. But Mazikeen has half a face all the time. She doesn't wear this mask of humanity, and she's not sexy. She's very awkward and very stilted, and she hates angels more than anything in the world, for reasons to do with Lilith, her mother. The angels kicked Lilith and all the demons out of the Silver City after they had built it for them, and so she holds a grudge going back eons. And if Mazikeen saw that scene where she's having sex with an angel, she would kill everyone involved with the show, from Jerry Bruckheimer down to the guy who gets the coffee on set, in very slow and torturous ways. But otherwise, Mazikeen is the most faithful character on the show. A word about Cain. Cain is a DC character who does not live in the real world. He is more the story of Cain and not the physical being of Cain, because he is a Sandman character. Sandman is the prince of dreams and stories, and so it is the story of Cain and Abel and the story of Eve that exists. And Cain runs the House of Mysteries, Abel runs the House of Secrets, and Eve lives in the Cave of Nightmares. So the real-world versions of Cain, Abel, and Eve, they could do with what they want, but they're not really the DC versions, which are, you know, the living embodiment of these stories. But Cain murders Abel all the time in the book. Abel regenerates. I love Tom Welling, by the way. He was fantastic on the show. And it was interesting because now he's played two Immortals for DC. If you watch Smallville, there was a girl who touches people and shows them their death, and we saw Superman's cape floating out in space. And in DC 1 million, we see that Superman is still alive in the year 83,000, but if you count a million issues forward of Action Comics, that's the year you end up at. Superman is functionally immortal in the DC universe. So Tom Welling's going to get typecast as an immortal for DC. That's about all there is to do about Cain. He's, you know, nothing like the show version. He doesn't live on Earth, and he is just, you know, Cain is an insufferable asshole in the book. He's not, you know, the heartwarming character that Tom Welling played. Very superior, very self-superior, I mean. Sorry, it's the longest video I've done yet. Oh yeah, Mazikeen is not petty like in the show. She's not petty, she's not emotional, she's very calm and cool and collected like Lucifer is. She gets heated when any danger is present, but Mazikeen on the show is very emotional and throws herself into these emotions all the time, and that's not Mazikeen in the book at all. Eve. Eve lives in the dreaming. The character of Eve really should be Lilith, because in the Sandman books, Eve the serpent is not actually Lucifer. It's a different character called Tempto, who tried to reset the universe with the help of a golden gargoyle in the Dreaming comic series. Very nearly succeeded, by going back to the place where the Garden of Eden was and rewriting the book so that he never tempted Eve in the first place. Point is, it wasn't Lucifer, and so that makes no sense whatsoever. But Eve should be Lilith. She is a morose and sad character who lives in the cave of nightmares. Eve is presented as every woman of every age. She is not a party girl, and she did not conform to Adam's wishes, which is why their marriage didn't work out. So pretty much these characters are just stitched together from whole cloth, which is fine. Let's see. Okay. Covered that. Heaven's not the Silver City, the waking world, and the dreaming. What is hell? I think we covered that. I'm going to just give you one example to go out on of the kind of thing Book Lucifer does that makes him evil, that makes him sort of not caring about the lives of others. There is a child, Michael's child, Elaine, who Lucifer trains to be the new god. God leaves in the book Lucifer, and it causes the destruction of the universe to be impending, unless someone else ascends to the throne. It could be Lucifer, or it could be Michael, but Fenris the wolf attacks the world tree Yggdrasil, and so Michael dies, and it can't be him. Lucifer sure as hell isn't going to take God's place, so he takes Michael's child and trains her to be the new god. And that's how the book ends. But Elaine's spirit has been trapped in a place called, see, here's like the waking world, the dreaming world is two sides of the same coin, and there's the edge of the coin, this sort of undefined space where a bunch of beings live, but it's a very nebulous sort of area that cannot support Lucifer's presence. He knows that. If he goes there, he's going to destroy all these billions of untold lives that live there. And he does in fact go there to rescue his one friend, Elaine's soul, because he's been friends with her. He makes friends with humans, and he will do anything to help his friends out, even though it causes untold damage to hundreds of billions of other people. So that's about it. Lucifer ends the book by exiting reality into the void after having a conversation with God. Well, Elaine has a conversation with God about whether he should destroy creation or whether he should restore it to keep it going. And if any of this has not sounded like the insane ramblings of a lunatic to you, I suggest you read the comic Lucifer, because it has nothing to do with the show, nothing will have been spoiled, and I can't wait for Season 5, because as I said, to make this compliment sandwich complete, I love the show Lucifer. It has every right to exist as it does, but it's nothing at all like the comic. It is the most unfaithful adaptation of a DC show to date. Thank you for your time.